Hi, I'm Rich for Sonic Stay Amped, and today I'll be looking at something that you may not have heard of before, the Dragoon custom cab series from Italy. So Dragoon are quite a young company from, as I said, Italy, Florence to be precise, and basically they came to me a few months ago and they showed me one of these 2x12 cabs whilst they were on tour doing guitar tech work for a guitarist called Gianluca Ferra. And I fell in love with the cab and they've sent me some more. So the main deal with these, they're lightweight, compact, and you can choose which combination of speakers you want in them. They use Celestians, by the way. And yeah, that's about it really. Let's take a look under the hood. So as you can see, there's a quite small and compact cabs, not much bigger than the actual speaker cone itself, which is 12 inches on this model. And then if I just spin this round, look at this first of all. This is our input, 8 ohms on here coming out from my amp into the cab, and then this little doodah here is a link. So this is currently going to the other cab, and basically, first of all, I had it in the X output, which meant that it was out of phase. The S output gives me the option to put it back in phase.
So you can control whether you want them in or out of phase with each other.
Exactly, yeah. So yeah, there we have it, a unique feature which is quite useful. I think this cab is about 6 kilograms, so pretty lightweight, easy to pick up, and the handle is useful for that as well, to be honest.
Are these the cases over here as well?
Yeah, and you get a little kind of carry case with it, with a shoulder strap. And this here, this is basically a panel that you can take off so you can have closed or open back speakers.
Right, okay.
And you can see in there we've got a greenback Celestian G12.
What's the build quality like then? Looks a little bit gluey.
To be honest, for the prices that you're paying, maybe not as great a build quality as you get from Messer or Marshall or somebody like that.
So what have we got in this one then?
So if I just whip the back off, you can see that we've got a vintage 30 in there, one of my favourite Celestian speakers. You can actually get quite a few different combinations of speakers. Obviously in the 2x12 you can actually combine different sets of Celestians. In the 1x12, the list of different speakers you can get, vintage 30 obviously, the greenback, the heritage, the classic lead, that's the ceramic series, and then you can also get the gold and the century vintage, and those are pricier models. You can kind of get heavier, more metal sounds from different Celestians, and then the vintage 30 and the greenback and the classic leads are actually all geared towards that kind of Foo Fighter, Queens of the Stone Age rocky sound.
So what's your setup?
I'm going through my custom Stratocaster into my beautiful Egnater Rebel 20, which has some awesome features, but we're not going to go through that now because we're talking about the Dragoons, which are mic'd up with a pair of Rode M3s.
Sounds very Strat-like.
Yeah.
Something a bit heavier. So how does it compare with two smaller cabs and one bigger 2x12?
I think the sound of the bigger 2x12 is kind of more in your face, stronger, you can feel it in the chest. And the 1x12s, I think, you don't get so much of the force, but the sound is actually really good. You do get the low end there, you get the high end presence as well.
So something really driven then?
Yep, let's go for it.
That seems to have quite a lot of voice.
Yeah, it does, especially through a kind of weedy-ish guitar. It's doing really, really well.
And this has got no effects on it, we're just going to amp to
No effects whatsoever. Actually, that was kind of like my resolution for the summer, was not to use as many effects as I did before. But the main thing I noticed with the Dragoons, actually, in general, is when you're listening to it, it kind of feels like someone's taken a blanket off of the amp. I did a sound test with an amp that I won't name, and the Dragoons, switching the speakers from the amp and the Dragoons around. I was facing the other way, so that I didn't know which was which. And it did just feel like, you know, something was lifted off of the sound and I could hear more in it, you know, it just felt more like how my guitar should sound.
So could you use it with just one cab? I mean, you don't need both, do you?
Yeah, you can use it with just one cab. It sounds really nice with one cab. That's what I do at home. And recently I've started a new musical project. I've been writing some fairly heavy kind of stoner rock stuff, and one cab has sounded great at my house for that.
Chili Peppers vibe?
Yeah, well, a Strat's perfect for that, and just kind of trying to show the versatility of your cabs, really.
So overall, what are your overall thoughts?
Okay, so my experience using a Dragoon in the studio as a sound engineer, I always give guitarists who come and record the option of using it, and a lot of the time they do, because it kind of glistens on recordings. It sounds nice. There's no mud usually in the cabs. Taking on the road, if you're a semi-pro musician like myself, then you find it useful to put it in the back of your car. It's light, 19 kilograms for the 2x12, 6 to 9 kilograms for the 1x12. The downside of that is obviously it's so light, and the materials are so light that if you've got huge roadies chucking it in the back of a van, then you can see what might happen. And then I've got to say the price is the one thing I'm not so sure about. If you're playing the market and you're looking for a cab, you might think, well, I can get 4x12 for you know, not much more money than the 2x12s.
So pricing then? Okay,
so the prices, you'll notice I've changed positions so I can see my cheat sheet. The ceramic edition Celestians, such as the G12 Greenback, the Vintage 30, the Classic Lead, etc., they will cost you £360 in the 1x12 model. If you move up to the Neodymium series that I can't pronounce, which has the Classic Gold, no, the Neodymium. It has the Century Vintage model of Celestian, then that will cost you £410. And then if you move up again to the Alnico edition, which has the gold Celestian series in it, then that will cost you a startling £575.
For a single 12?
For a single speaker, yeah. Obviously I bought the 2x12, so I really liked it. I fell in love with the sound. You know, obviously not the build quality or the aesthetics. I didn't really care about that. What I cared about was it sounded great, and it was portable, and I can use it in the studio. If that's not what you're after, if you're after value for money, if you're after a cab that's going to provide you with a sound that you like and is not going to get trashed when you go on tour, then this probably isn't the cab for you, basically.